Good afternoon, Flosstube. It's Lori of MischievousStitches. I want to welcome all of you to my channel today. I'm very glad that you stopped by to visit with me. I have tons to share today. My tabletop is full. I'm just home from the non-stop stitching retreat that was held in Reedville, South Carolina this weekend. I traveled up to the retreat on Friday with my friends Kira and Barbara, and we had a great weekend stashing and stitching and swapping stories and most of all laughing. My cup runneth over. I'm just happy. To start this video, instead of going right into the retreat items, I'd like to start off with my whips. Those are the things that I have worked on this past week and share with you the progress that I made. So let's start with A Study in Nature. This is by the Artsy Housewife. When I left you last, I did a couple of these little areas here on this on the left-hand side wing. And I put in some work on to make that area that I've stitched a little larger. So when you saw it last, I had, I think, did the outline of this first two places here, and I did all the work in stitching inside of this but the tulips, the top of the tulips. So I finished that up, brought this down even more, colored these in, and brought it over to this side. So I'm hoping to get back into it this week. I find just doing those little sections satisfying. It's a tiny little finish as you stitch along, outline it, fill it in. And even if I only give it one night, I thought it would be great to put in a couple more this week. This is being stitched on a piece of 32 count Rogue Fabrics copper penny, and I'm using the DMC flosses. It does call for the fancy flosses, the overdyes, but I decided I wanted to use the DMCs. This fabric is just lovely. It's also not the call for fabric. The call for fabric is more, is a darker shade, a more saturated fabric colored in red. And the shop that I purchased it from was Barefoot Needle Arts, and they didn't have that one. So I chose copper penny, and I absolutely love it. I think that at the time that was part of a trunk show at the retreat, I believe, and that's where I picked it up. So they were offering a trunk show for the Rogue Fabrics. And what else did I work on this week? My red sampler. You see, I didn't even iron them today because I have been on the road. But I put a couple more numbers into this piece. And now I'm working on the smaller of the uppercase letter alphabets right here. This is on an Atomic Ranch 36 count Dune fabric. And I'm stitching one strand of DMC 817 over 2 linen threads. And I think it's looking great. But I'm gonna put this one away for a while and give another piece a little more attention. And I'll share that one with you in just a minute. Let me set this up. Oop, oop. All right. And then I'm working on Bluebirds and Bluebells by Pansy Patch Quilting. Here's the piece. I love the piece, but I'm struggling. I've shared with all of you the past couple of weekends how I spend a night or two stitching it, and then the next time I sit down with it the next week, I'm removing, and that's my needle minder. Oh. Sorry about that. I did it again. So when you last saw it, I had carried the vine, not the flowers, just the vine, all the way over to this side. After removing part of the vine, I restitched it in. but I found an error when I was counting down to these hearts. I worked those hearts over towards the middle and found by orienting it from the piece above as I went over and was orienting the hearts where they were to be stitched, I found that I was off again here. So I ripped out all that vine, the flowers that I put in, which was another 2 or 3 flowers, and corrected my issue, had to rip out the hearts. So this one is officially in timeout. I don't know whether it's my focus. The past 2 weeks, Tuesday has been my hardest work day. Usually it's Monday, but Tuesdays have been longer work days, and I'm stitching along. It's like an understood agreement between me and my friend Teresa that we would stitch them on Tuesdays. We just kind of check in with each other when we sit down to stitch, and then share our progress when we're done stitching. And there's no set time or anything like that. It's just another way to communicate and keep touch with my friend. But I've told her I've got to put it in timeout. So I don't think I'm going to work on it this week, but that'll give me another day to 2 days to work on something else. So while at retreat this weekend, let me put my needle winder back on there. At retreat this weekend, I picked up Praiseworthy Stitches, Simple Gifts. It's no simpler than this design, but I'm finding it way more enjoyable. It's a Quaker design. It's a modern Quaker, not a reproduction. And it only calls for the 3 different threads, 3 different thread colors, and it's multiple skeins of each. But when I started it back in February, I just fell in love, and I have been stitching along on it, on and off now for almost 2 months. Or over 2 months, and I'm just loving it. So let me get these threads out of here. So the threads are moss, and everyone I pick up says moss. That's not so. Moss, whiskey, and Indian summer. These are the colors, and you've got multiple skeins of each. And let me share with you my progress. So I've already gone through, I think I'm into the 2nd skein of moss. Did I share the picture? Let me do this just in case. But I'm loving this. And I'm over here, I'm trying to complete, it's picking my face up. I'm over trying to pick up, let me get that oriented. I'm trying to work through this motif here to complete that 3rd page, second page. So I've worked on it now Saturday night, Saturday, all day, Saturday, and today, Sunday. And I did make a mistake there, but it was just a counting mistake. So I had completed the outline, the outer section of that motif, but I ended up finishing this motif, all but that stem of that red tulip. I finished this motif. I finished one of the letters here, this motif. Started on this one and completed this outer, and I took the border down the side. So that's my progress, and that's a great bit of progress. So I think I'm going to carry this one on in. I'm going to work on it tonight, definitely work on it tomorrow and probably Tuesday, and we'll see what my heart desires to stitch on after that. But that's my works. I did make a small start this week too. Let me put all this back together. That's where I get mixed up, when I don't put things back together after I do a video and I've got a mess on the table. I worry I'm going to put something in the wrong spot. Okay. I did make a small start. This was something I was just going to try to take along to work with me, and I actually bent up my pattern while at retreat, but this is Quirky Quaker Flamingo. I did the Quirky Turkey, and this is by Darling and Whimsy. I did the Quirky Turkey back in November and finished it into a pillow, and I enjoyed it. And I had plans for this one as well. I chose my own colors. I chose Classic Colorworks Persimmon and Mac and Cheese. But it doesn't work well on my fabric. So the fabric was just a ornament cut from Barefoot. It's one of their fabrics. And as you can see, I can't see the mac and cheese. So I think I need to go back upstairs, find a remnant piece from something else, and darken up my color. So I'm just gonna remove those stitches, use this piece of fabric for another ornament, and I'll do that at some point this week. Maybe even tonight I'll pull those stitches out, but I think I just want to sit down and stitch tonight. I do plan to continue using these colors, and just like I said, just darkening the fabric up. And then I made one other start this weekend, and it was a Hobby Lobby kit. I finished one of these up a couple of years ago for a retreat small piece and fixed it into, oh, where did I put it? Uh-oh. It was in there. We'll come across it. Ah, hold on. It is this. So this is, it's a larger, you see it was marked down, so it was really inexpensive. I do have a plan for it. And I've completed, when I come across it, it's in with this stuff on the table. I will share it with you. But I made a start on this as well. So my friends Kara, Barbara, and I left on Friday, and on the way up, we had plans to stop by Panda's Crossing, which is what I think is it Malden, South Carolina? They were going to have their market haul on display for those, and so we went in and shopped around a little bit. We ran into some other friends, Charlotte and Farm Boys Love, as well as Sully Stitches. They were in there as well. It was great to finally meet both Farm Girls Love and Sully Stitches. Not met her before, and we just kind of, all of us hit it off. We chatted for a while, discussed the patterns, the releases, those kind of things. So we enjoyed our time at Panda's Crossing. We left and we visited a local craft store, and we hit the jackpot. I don't know where the patterns come from because it's all, I believe it's donation, but I picked up a lot of patterns for very inexpensive prices. There were 3 of us, and we were like vultures on a carcass. We just dove in. So let me share those patterns with you that we found, or that I found. These are the ones I come home with. Picked up Riley Harbor by Kathy Barrick. It's one that I do not have. I picked up Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery's Summer Garden at Cranberry Manor, along with the fabric. This is a Country Mocha, let me see, a 1/4 yard of Country Mocha, 32 count. Pick that up. I picked up Scarlet House, a Perfect World, Teresa Kogut, For the Love of Nature, Goodwill to Men by Erica Michaels, Repeat the Sounding Joy by Kathy Barrick. That's a lot of black, but thankfully it's not white. I've stitched so much on that Christmas Manor with all that white, and the stitches just not laying so, and I have much better luck with black. So I'm looking forward, I'm not necessarily looking forward to stitching all the black, but I'm looking forward to stitching it, my stitches lying a lot better than they did with that white. This one is another Teresa Kogut, and this is Silhowitch Quaker. When Pumpkins Glow by With Thy Needle and Thread. A Quaker Welcome by Lila's Studio. Winter Rose Manor by With Thy Needle and Thread. Amy Brucken Designs McFlurry Friends. And this one comes with threads. We hit the jackpot. This is just what I brought home. There are 2 friends with me. They brought home too. We just hit the jackpot. This is the same spot a few videos ago that I went in and found a complete shepherd's bush kit with all the silk threads. Same place. I didn't expect this, but I'm very happy that we dropped by this weekend and these were there. What else did I get? So this is mostly, I did have a couple of gifts. My friend Barbara had this piece and she had accidentally picked up 2. And so she gifted one to me. And my friend Kira, this is a market release, but she wanted us all to stitch it together. So she gifted us threads, gifted us a piece of fabric that she dyed herself. And I made a small start last night because it was important to me to get that start. So can you see? Oh, that's my thread. It goes like this. So I've got a small start, and Kira, I think, has gotten the majority of her sheep done. And we even picked up some finishing supplies for this. So hopefully within a week or 2, you're going to see a finish on this one. So that's going to be exciting when we all get it finished together. And this, I picked up this at that same shop as well. And it's a piece of, I'm thinking maybe this is maybe, I don't know. The count on it's got to be a high count, and it reminds me of the fabric I stitched my Uber turkey from Heart and Hand. And my plan was this is the Barefoot Needle Arts retreat piece from Stitching on the Farm. I know I'm not saying it right. Chrissy and Miss Stitchy Linda. What is Chrissy's handle? Anywho, the retreat piece for Barefoot Needle Art in February was a beach front wooden building, and on a post outside was a pelican. I want to just stitch the pelican. So I bought this fabric, and I'm going to order the pearl cottons in the called for colors and stitch it on this piece of fabric. I'm excited about that. This was a good finish because this is a big honking piece of fabric. So I should have plenty. I haven't measured it, but it was $1. Look at that. I think I can get that pelican on there. What you think? I think so. So at some point soon, I'll get a start on that. I would love to have it finished before the Barefoot Needle Arts retreat that will be held in October. Okay, and then let's back to retreat. So we drove up on Friday and we signed up for a finishing class on one of the jewelry cases. So it was one of the small jewelry cases, excuse me. I'm making a mess. And this is the one I chose. So I got working on it, and I've actually removed all this to kind of figure out where I wanted things. But I wanted some fabric, so I said I will finish the inside when I get home so that I can have it just like I want it. So I want to cover the dividers. I'm going to remove all these and make a pin cushion in there, but I'm going to use these. So I've already kind of cut them. They're just basically I just need to put things together. So these have been removed and the bottom has been removed. I cut out a piece of mat board that I want to cover with fabric to put in the bottom, but I also want to wrap these dividing pieces with fabric as well. So I'll get to that soon. Probably, definitely by next weekend. But the piece that I finished, I think I shared with everyone my finished piece, but I mounted it on a circle. So I took my compass circle cutter that I bought last year. I cut out a circle that would fit well on top of this box. I also took Rick Rack, but because I had all intentions of at least finishing the outside, but I took red Rick Rack and it was the bright red and it was just too overpowering. So I came home and I had the pink, which is very similar to the box cover, but it just adds a point of interest on the outside. And I actually brought down a hot pink too, but it doesn't match as well. So I'm gonna stick with this one. And that's gonna be my outside. So I'm gonna take this and just go around the edges of this. I'm gonna sew it into place later. And then I'm gonna mount this piece on the top. But I laced it up, stretched it, and there's 2 pieces of batting up underneath this. So this is just like I want it here. It's thin, but I just need to get it finished all up. But we took this class on Friday night. She did have several of her market purchases out. It was hosted by Heather of Nonstop Stitching. She has a website and I'll link it below. And she had different fabrics laid out for us, as well as the glue for finishing and some of the batting so that we could cushion beneath our finished piece. We had the finished pieces completed before we attended the retreat, and she had several different colors of the boxes for us to choose from, excuse me, and that is the color I chose. So again, I hope to have that all finished to share with you next weekend. It shouldn't take much more effort from me, but I'm excited. She did give us a few things to stick inside, and I put everything in here. So we have some thread conditioner. This is my mat board. I thought I had cut it out. I didn't. I lined it out. I just need to cut it out. So can you see that? But I lined out the bottom. I need to cut that out and cover it with fabric. We got the glue for the finishing, like I said. And then we got one of these wonderful little brushes I'm coming to love, because prior to these, I call them mascara brushes, but I'm sure there's another cross-stitch technical term for it. I would use a toothbrush. I always kept a toothbrush in a box. And then when I had to remove stitches, I would comb the fabric to help remove the filaments and to close the holes. This has become my best friend over the past few weeks with my Bluebirds and Bluebells, because I'm using it a lot. She also gave us a few pins. So the glass headed pins to go in the piece when we're done. A few unfinished wooden spools to use however we'd like inside. Some scissors, some small scissors, which will work really good on the inside. We can just hang them there. We also got a needle minder, and it's a small mini, so the magnet on the back is like microscopic. It's so tiny. And then thread conditioner, a few spare bobbins, but this I chose Sweet Salt and Orchid, and this is Stitchy Scents Soy Wax Thread Conditioner. I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. Again, sea salt and orchid. So this I need to keep all down here. So what else did I get in here? So my friend Kira gifted us all the cute 'Tis the Season, so cute little bunny and these glitter covered little Easter eggs. And she also gifted us with a little bag with some of what I call, I think I've taken, no, it's right here. I was gonna say, I think I've taken it out. I think I used it, took it out and used it, but I put it back. This is wonderful for stitchers because it doesn't leave residue on our fingers. And our hands are so dry this time of year in the winter. So there's that. And she gave us a notepad and a pen in this cute little bag. Thank you, Kira. Leprechaun visited our table. We've got plenty of gold. Kira also gifted us all with some little buttons for St. Patty's Day, which is tomorrow. And then we got a goodie bag from Nonstop Stitching that had several patterns inside, all printed on a really great cardstock paper. This one's You Are Worthy, and this one is Halloween Boo. We got a pair of scissors. These come in great last night, cutting the batting, on Friday night, cutting the batting for the box. We got a thread. This is Shutter Green, Simply Shaker Shutter Green. A lanyard for your scissors. We got some gummy bears and some frog chocolates. Some thread conditioner that's also in the shape of a frog. And a stitch counter. Let me put all this in. And there was a trunk show there as well by Millennium Fabrics, and that was Sarah, who I was lucky enough to sit with at the table. She was one of the table mates, and picked up a couple of her fabrics. This is 32 count chickadee. I love the green in this fabric. And this is oat milk. Beautiful fabric as well. Shades of brown and beige. I think that was it. Yeah, that's all the fabrics I had. I also picked up Pear Fair. Around Bees by JBW Designs. And Imprints Stitch and Marker. These are great for smalls for retreats. I don't often participate. I always seem to procrastinate when it comes to doing smalls exchange pieces. So I often come up empty-handed, so I just don't participate. Show up. Not come up. Show up. Show up empty-handed. Okay, what else do I have? Actually, that's it. I went through that a lot quicker than I thought I was going to, but that's it. So this coming week, I'm going to remove all the stitches in this piece and find a new and better fabric for my flamingo, my quirky Quaker flamingo. I'm gonna finish up, and I found it. This is the rainbow, so I'm very close to a finish. So I have the blue, the remainder of the yellow to finish, and the arch, and then the blue, and then it's gonna have tassels hanging down for, let me share the picture. Oh, it doesn't share it on here. It's the other piece I had earlier. Oh, there it is. Excuse me. So It will have white tassels hanging down, threads, so I just have to put those in, and then this will be finished, and then I need to do the full finishing on it. So I'll have that finished next weekend. If I'm lucky, if I use my time wisely, I can finish up my box next weekend. And then I want to put some more work into Chubby U, as we were calling it, Chubby U. So I hope all of you have had a great week, that you enjoyed the video, and my heart goes out to all of those that were harmed by the storms that blew through last night. We did have some strong storms, even hit Reedville in the yesterday morning, but nothing like I'm seeing in some of the other states. So my heart goes out to you all that's been harmed by these tornadoes and this weather. And until next time, everyone hugs and stitches. Bye-bye.